Today's web conference on the IRS Tax Calendar is a collaborative effort between the IRS functions of small business, self-employed, and tax-exempt government entities, specifically Indian tribal governments. The Office of Indian Tribal Governments provides tribal entities quality customer service by helping them understand and comply with their tax responsibilities. We help tribal governments deal with the federal tax matters and offer a single point of contact for help and service. Indian tribal government specialists address issues and offer tax guidance to tribes who deal with employment taxes, distributions to tribal members, establishment of governmental programs and businesses, and enterprises such as casino gaming, housing, and many other governmental functions.
Hello, I'm Emma Sánchez, Senior Stakeholder Liaison with Small Business Self-Employed. SBSE's mission is to help small businesses and self-employed taxpayers understand and meet their tax obligations while applying the tax law with integrity and fairness to all. Stakeholder Liaison partners with small businesses and tax professional organizations to create events and opportunities to exchange ideas and discuss current and emerging issues. Before we begin, we have a few announcements. The information contained in this presentation is current as of the date it was presented and should not be considered official guidance. This program is being recorded and will be maintained in accordance with federal record-keeping laws. It will be archived for later viewing on our website at irsvideos.gov. Finally, although your questions may not be answered during this event, we want to hear from you. If you hear something during the presentation that prompts a question, simply click on the Ask a Question link on your screen. Your questions will help us determine future topics as well as make sure we have updated information on irs.gov. We'll be covering these items in this webinar. IRS Tax Calendar, access the IRS Tax Calendar on your smartphone, desktop calendar tool, which is the IRS CalendarConnector, subscribe, download the calendar onto your own calendar, receive email reminders such as RSS feeds. You can find all these items on the IRS Tax Calendar for Small Business and Self-Employed webpage. Just type Tax Calendar in the search field on irs.gov. The IRS Tax Calendar homepage on irs.gov looks like what's on your screen. Here's where you can find links to specific information or instructions regarding the various tax calendar products. The online tax calendar allows you to view important tax dates for small businesses. You can add this as a favorite or add it to your smartphone's home screen, but this may vary depending upon the type of phone you have. When you look at all events on the calendar, you can view or filter them by general or excise and by monthly or semi-weekly depositor. This slide shows event types for general, excise, and monthly and semi-weekly depositors. If an event is on the right side of the calendar, its corresponding numeric date will be in blue. For example, here, general event types include topics such as, general event types are for individuals, partnerships, and corporations with activities for estimated tax due dates, form due dates such as the 1040 series, the 1065s, 1120, 5500, 940, 941, etc. If you click on one of the blue dates on the calendar on the left, the corresponding event is, is highlighted in yellow on the right side of the screen, so you can easily identify the action listed on the day. Okay. For example, on this slide, we have December 15th highlighted, and it's selected. And you'll see that there are two actions listed on the right. Before we move on to the next slide, please look at the top of the tax calendar screen. In the orange box is a reminder which reads, EFTPS users, payments must be scheduled by 8 p.m. Eastern Time, at least one calendar day before the tax due date. EFTPS stands for Electronic Federal Tax Payment System, which is a secure government website that allows users to make federal tax payments electronically. The reason for me drawing your attention to this reminder is that it was added due to suggestions we received from end users, like you, to help ensure that payments are made timely, thus avoiding penalties and interest. The calendar is also available in Spanish. To access this version, select Languages in the upper right corner of the calendar and click on Español from the drop-down menu. The Spanish IRS Tax Calendar has the same features as the English calendar. As you saw on the previous slide, if you click on one of the blue dates, the corresponding event will be highlighted on the right side of the screen to easily identify the action listed on that day. As in the last example, you will see that this slide has December 15th selected, and you will see that there are two actions listed on the right. To switch back from the Spanish IRS Tax Calendar to the English IRS Calendar, select Idioma in the upper right corner and click on English from the drop-down menu. For the most part, all the items we're presenting today are available in Spanish. To print the month of events, you go to Tools in the upper right corner of the calendar and select Print Tax Dates from the drop-down menu. You may want to do this if you have an unreliable internet access or if you want to post this in your workspace for quick reference. Note that the boxes for general and monthly depositor have been checked under the event type. Only activities related to these types are shown. In this case, there are activities on the 10th and 15th. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, let me go on to the next slide. Your screen has an example of the print, which shows the calendar and the dates in bold. In this case, the 10th and the 15th, and only the events for the event types you selected. In this case, the general and monthly depositor activities are shown as this was selected in the previous screen. One of the questions I've been asked before is, why don't you place the activities within the date block? Well, the reason is that the font and subsequently your printout, will be so small that you can't easily read the activities within that date. If you want to install a calendar on your desktop, your computer desktop, IRS has a feature called CalendarConnector. Select Tools from the upper right corner, then select Add to a mobile device or computer from the drop-down menu. The Desktop Calendar Connector allows you to access the tax calendar events from your desktop even when you're offline. And if any new events are added, the Calendar Connector is automatically updated when you go back online. Be sure to read the note at the bottom of the screen. The Calendar Connector requires the installation of Adobe Air, which was designed to be used on computers with standard displays. If it's installed on a computer which has a high pixel density, or HIDPI screen, such as MacBook with Retina, the Calendar Connector display may be too small to be usable. In layman's terms, high pixel density refers to screens with high resolution or sharpness in a relatively small format. These are found mostly in high-end laptops and or monitors. If your computer has a standard display, then select Install the IRS Calendar Connector for Windows and Mac computers. Installing the Calendar Connector is a two-step process. First, you have to install Adobe Air, which is free. Just follow the directions. Note that it's not compatible with tablets or smartphones and should be used only with a computer, either a desktop or a laptop. As you install Adobe Air, you might get a pop-up offering you additional products for a fee. You can opt out by closing the window once the Adobe Air installation is complete. Secondly, your next step is that you click on the Calendar Connector icon on the screen to complete the installation. If the calendar doesn't appear on your computer's desktop, automatically. What you might want to do is search for it and add it as an icon. The IRS Calendar Connector gives important tax dates for small businesses right from the desktop, even when you're offline. Look at the items outlined in the red box. This customizable tool allows you to specify what types of events you'd like to view: general, monthly depositor, semi-weekly depositor, excise, or all. And it also displays them in a way you'd like to see them, for example, by day, week, month, or show all dates. This slide shows all event types as being selected, and they are listed by month. Within the red box on the slide, you will see only general and monthly depositor selected under event type. As a result, the screen will show only activities related to those events. For example, the yellow arrows are samples of general events. The purple arrows are samples of monthly depositor items. This slide shows all event types and important tax dates from January 15th through February 14th, 2016. If there is an activity listed, the date will be in red, like 1/15/2016, as shown by the yellow arrow in the upper left. If you are just learning about make-a deposits, you may want to have this information come up as soon as you log on. It will help get you into the habit of being aware of important tax dates. Note, when Show All Dates is checked, use the scroll bar to view all events because each day of the month will be displayed, whether there is an activity or not. For example, if you see January 16th and 17th on your screen, it states no events scheduled for this date. In regard to the red arrow that's on the lower left, when you select the web version link, the English version of the online tax calendar will be displayed. We've seen that earlier in our presentation. And finally, the last arrow on your screen refers to the settings button in the lower right corner, which will take you to the personal settings section of the IRS Calendar Connector. Under the Updates tab, you can update the calendar with the Check Now button in the upper right section of the screen. This section of the calendar shows you the date the calendar was last updated. The default setting is set to automatically check for updates, and if this feature is deselected, the calendar will not update until the Check Now button is clicked. If you want the IRS Calendar Connector to open up when the computer starts up, click the checkbox next to Start the IRS Calendar Connector at Login. Otherwise, leave the box unchecked and open the calendar whenever you want to review it. As previously stated, if you are new to depositing and filing requirements, you might want to have the Calendar Connector start at your login. In case you need to uninstall the IRS Calendar Connector, follow the steps listed at the bottom of the Updates tab. While we're on the screen, I'd like to inform you about the contents of the other two tabs. The first tab is named Skins. This is where you, the user, can use to select various color schemes. And then the third tab is named Accessibility. This is where you'd find keyboard shortcuts to navigate through the calendar when not using a mouse. Moving on, you can subscribe to the calendar to ensure you have the most up-to-date calendar events by importing the information into your calendar program. Select Tools in the upper right corner, and then click on Add to Mobile Device or Computer on the drop-down menu. Now, this screen may look familiar, but in this case, we're looking at the item named Calendar Program, which is highlighted in green. Downloading or subscribing can be used on a computer or mobile device. It works with a variety of programs that you may already be using. Examples of compatible programs are listed on the screen and include Microsoft Outlook and Apple OS Calendar. To proceed, you select Download or Subscribe to use a calendar program already installed on your device. When subscribing to the IRS Tax Calendar, you'll receive the most up-to-date tax calendar events through continuous updates, which keep the dates on your calendar current at all times. you won't be able to make manual changes to it. When downloading, you won't receive automatic updates. And notice, I said downloading, not subscribing. What you do receive when you download is a one-time snapshot of the calendar onto your program. So this means changes to the IRS tax calendar will not update automatically. Outlook will let you edit this imported data, but will not automatically refresh it when the IRS updates data. Note, Outlook 2003 does not support subscribing to calendar updates, but it will support a download. Because of this, the IRS is not responsible for issues caused by changes to the tax calendar after the date the file was downloaded. If this is a major concern, please use a calendar application that supports subscriptions to Internet calendars. Be sure to choose the categories of dates you'd like to add to your calendar, then click on Subscribe or Download. In this example, we have selected General and Monthly Depositor, and these are reflected under the yellow highlighted items right below. Okay, looking at our slide now, I'm going to provide you an example of subscribing to the calendar from a mobile device. Once you get to the subscription page from either the tax calendar page of irs.gov or the drop-down menu of the online tax calendar, you are to tap on the tap on the event types you wish to subscribe to. In this case, all have been selected: General, Monthly Depositor, Semi-Weekly Depositor, and Excise. Then you tap on the Subscribe link. The following slides are examples for an iPhone or an iPad calendar. What you'll see next is a pop-up dialog box appearing, and it will ask you if you want to proceed to subscribe or cancel the function. Depending upon the event types you selected, the dialog box will say or show the following. For example, the first image shows subscribe to calendar, and it will ask you the question of important tax dates for small businesses, because the general, monthly, and semi-weekly boxes were checked. If you check general and monthly, the box will ask you or say subscribe to the calendar, important monthly depositor tax dates for small businesses. If you selected general and semi-weekly, the box will say subscribe to the calendar, important semi-weekly depositor tax dates for small businesses. As I did right across, I went from left to right, and that is what the screens will show, depending upon, of course, what event types you selected. What I need you to do next is to tap on the subscribe button once you confirm you have the selections you want. The next pop-up dialog box will advise you that the calendar has been loaded onto your iPhone or iPad calendar, and ask if you would want to view the event, or if not, select Done. The same verbiage will depend on the event types you selected as stated on the last slide. To see additional information about subscribing to the tax calendar, you tap on the settings icon. In this case, look at the second to last item shown with the red arrow. Tap on the Mail Contacts Calendars item. This screen shows the user the various accounts listed under Mail, Contacts, and Calendars. The red arrow shows the IRS Tax Calendar subscription. Your next step would be to tap on this item. To view the various calendars or change the color of the entries, tap on the Calendars button at the bottom of the calendar. A list of all the calendars will be listed along with the colors of the entries, as shown on the image on the right. It shows check marks next to the various calendars which are visible. In this example, personal and important tax dates are visible as these have check marks. Note the important tax dates has a light green dot to separate those listings from the other calendar entries. Now please look back at the top of the image on the left. Note that there are 3 tax calendar entries for January 15th, as the color of each entry is light green. Now, if you want to hide one of the calendars, I'm so sorry, give me a second. Now, if you want to hide one of the calendars, just tap on the item and the check mark will disappear, indicating those events will not be shown on the calendar. Notice in this image, the check is not showing up for the next to the important tax dates, so the calendar will only display personal events. These two images are of the same screen. The left image shows what the calendar entries look like in portrait style. You can only see one day here. The right image is in landscape view. By turning your phone sideways, you can see activities for multiple days in the month. Notice that in either view, the tax calendar events are shown in light green for January 15th. The first item is a deposit payroll item. When you tap on an event, in this case, the deposit payroll item, as I mentioned earlier, a full description of the event is displayed as shown on this slide. If you recall, all events were truncated or cut off, so you will have to click on it for a full description. If you no longer want to subscribe to the tax calendar and you want to delete it from the iPhone or iPad, you tap on your settings icon to get to the screen as shown on the left image. Tap on Mail, Contacts, Calendars, which is the second from the bottom, as shown with the red arrow. Tap on the Subscribe Calendars, as shown with the arrow on the right image. Your next step, you would tap on Imported Tax Dates for Small, as shown on the left image, and then you tap on the Delete Account button, which is shown on the right image. Your new screen looks like the left image. When you tap on Delete Account button, a confirmation screen appears making sure you want to delete it. When you tap on the Delete Account again, the tax calendar is removed from the iPhone or iPad as shown on the image on the right. Note that the space is now blank. Whichever calendar you choose, you might be thinking that this is a good way to know what's due in a few days. You might think that it's good to know what's due today or what might be due in a few days. You'd kind of like to have a little bit more advance notice, wouldn't you? You're thinking, wouldn't it be nice to know what's coming up around the corner? As we move on to this topic, I'll turn this over to Joe.
Thank you, Emma. We are now moving on to a recently added feature to the calendar where you can now receive email reminders from the calendar either 1 or 2 weeks at your option before the due dates. Scroll over to Tools on the navigation bar in the upper right corner of your screen. Select Receive Reminders via RSS from the drop-down menu. You can also find the same feature and select it, Receive Reminders via RSS, from the tax calendar page of www.irs.gov. RSS stands for Really Simple Syndication, which uses a web feed format to publish information to your email or calendar. Information like blog entries, news updates, headlines, store sales, etc. The majority of the time you get these added automatically by answering yes to a feed that asks if you would like to receive sales through your email. Most recently, chain stores ask if you would like to receive sales notices on your email, and they do this when you're checking out at the register. The RSS feed we are adding are reminders of tax return due dates and tax deposit dates. You'll come to a screen where you choose the categories for the reminders you want to receive and how far in advance to get them, either 1 or 2 weeks. You'll be given a link to use when adding the RSS feed to your email program. To add the feed, you have to access the settings in your email program. In email programs like Yahoo or Gmail, the settings for the RSS feed is in your account. For example, for Yahoo, the settings are in your My Yahoo account. The following example includes detailed instructions for adding the feed to Outlook 2010. To use reminders in other types of email programs, type RSS feeds in the search or help functions in the program's account features and follow the instructions found in the results. Please note, when the program calls for the location of the RSS feed, paste in the RSS web address, the link shown on the slide. You might want to keep this window open in case you need to recopy this address. In programs such as Yahoo or Gmail, you will be pasting the address in the URL address. When this window opens, the default for Select Event Types has all event types checked, as shown in the upper graphic. You customize your reminders by deselecting those events that you don't want, as shown in the lower graphic. In the lower graphic, this individual has selected that they are a semi-weekly depositor. You'll select General to get the reminders for the forms that need to be filed. For example, the Form 941. As you select or deselect items, the web address changes accordingly. Once you have the desired events, copy this address because you'll need it when your email program calls for the RSS feed location. While in Outlook, click on RSS Feed. Instructions for the different RSS feeds are listed on the right side of the screen. Click on Subscribe to a RSS feed sent to you as an Outlook RSS feed sharing message. Follow the step-by-step instructions that are shown on your Outlook screen. The instructions tell you to open Account Settings, RSS Feeds, and click New. At this point, you will be pasting the URL as the new RSS feed. You can find the RSS feed location by clicking on the File tab, click on the Account Settings button, click on Account Settings from the down-drop menu. You add a new RSS feed by clicking on the RSS Feeds tab, click on New, paste the URL from the Install Reminders page. The reminder in this example is for the 1-week reminder for general and semi-weekly deposit. You can see this from the URL address you're copying and pasting into the address box. If you want the reminder emails to go to a different place into your email account, then click on the Change Folder button to change the place the reminders will come into the calendar. Click on Inbox in the new RSS Feed Delivery Location window. By doing this, the reminders will appear in your email inbox. Click OK. Now your reminders will come into the inbox 1 week before the due date. Click OK. Screen 1 shows the tax calendar reminders loading in Outlook. This can take several minutes. So click Close in the lower right corner of the window. Screen 2 shows the date and time the IRS tax calendar was added to Outlook if you happen to go back later to see the results. Screen 1 is a copy of the reminder email when it comes into the Outlook box. This example shows the title as reading, Reminder for 3/2/2015. Click on the email to open it. As shown in Screen 2, the email states, on 3/2/2015, farmers and fishermen file Form 1040 and pay any tax due. However, you have until April 15th to file if you paid your 2014 estimated tax payments by January 25th, 2015. These reminder notices are generated at 12 o'clock Eastern Time, 12 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, 1 week or 2 weeks before due, depending on the frequency you selected. Note, you cannot change the time when the email comes into the inbox. The reminders notice does also appear on other programs, for example, Yahoo or Gmail. Along with the notices will be other items you have added into your RSS feed. For example, news updates, website notices, merchandise vendor sales, etc., if you have added them to your calendar. To delete the RSS feed from Outlook, follow these instructions. Click on the File tab, click on the Account Settings button, click on Account Settings from the drop-down menu, click on the RSS Feed tab, click Remove, select Yes to delete. When you delete the RSS feed, only future reminders are deleted. You have to manually delete previous reminders in Outlook. So hopefully, as you have seen, the IRS tax calendar really does have widespread applicability to governments and businesses alike, and will enhance your current tax compliance program by scheduling out important due dates and providing advance reminders to ensure you avoid any delinquencies in filing or paying. We want to do all we can to help you avoid penalties and interest by timely filing and paying. You can find all the information we discussed by typing Tax Calendar in the search field on irs.gov. As we begin our work on next year's version, we ask for your feedback and/or ideas of how we can make this product even better. Simply scroll to the bottom of the tax calendar page and click on the appropriate link to complete the survey. We made several changes and additions based on your comments and recommendations, such as as previously mentioned, the EFTPS reminder at the top of the online tax calendar, and the email RSS Feed reminders you can schedule 1 or 2 weeks in advance. You can always contact us if you have any questions. If you represent a tribe or are a tribal member, you can contact your local ITG specialist or email us at tege.outreach@irs.gov.
And this is Emma. I'm back. And for other practitioner and industry organizations, please search Stakeholder Liaison on irs.gov. We in Stakeholder Liaison establish relationships with practitioner and industry organizations representing small businesses and self-employed taxpayers by providing information about the policies, practices, and procedures the IRS uses to ensure compliance with the tax laws. To establish a relationship with us, please use a list to find a contact within your state. Please note, these contacts on the Stakeholder Liaison page are intended for practitioner and industry stakeholders and do not respond to tax law questions. For tax law questions, please refer to the Help and Resources tab on the irs.gov homepage. As a reminder, this program has been recorded and will be archived for later viewing. We understand that several slides did not present within the broadcast. These will be corrected when the recording is posted. We will send an announcement when it is available on irsvideos.gov. Hopefully, this has been informative to you, and this concludes our program. Thank you for attending, and have a great day.